Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Our guest tonight is one hard-bitten scientist. No one, perhaps, has been bitten more often than he has in his studies of bugs all over the world. Joining us to swat away the myths about summertime bugs is Mike Raup, professor of entomology at the University of Maryland. Mike, it's great to see you.
Jeff, it's really wonderful to be back to MPT. Always a pleasure.
We had a consensus pick for our topic this week. When we talked with all of our producers, everybody has been bitten by mosquitoes.
Yeah, me too.
So we want to talk about the fact that there seems to be a bumper crop. We had a wet beginning to the summer. Is that the big story?
I really think it is. With things really got off to a slow start. We had that kind of coolish spring. It kind of melted over into the summer, but boy, the heat is on, Jeff, and the mosquitoes are humming right now. So back when we were in the 70s and things, it basically takes mosquitoes about 2 weeks to go from egg to egg, completed generation. But once it hits the magic 90, they are doing it within a week. So that means twice as many mosquitoes per unit time, and I think everybody's getting a taste of that.
You're saying the life cycle of a mosquito speeds up.
Temperature dependent. They're like little machines, little automatons, and the hotter it gets, the faster they go.
We have some video, courtesy of your Bug of the Week website. And this is what? You can see it over there. You shot this?
Yeah, these are the little wigglers. These are some of the guys I fished out of my Mosquitotron in the backyard, which is actually a 5-gallon pail full of water.
Now,
yeah, exactly. And these little rascals are the larvae. They breathe through a little siphon on their rear end. That's the surface of the water you're looking at.
I know I didn't like
I know. We don't need to press that one farther. But that's how they roll, Jeff. Yeah, we won't go there.
So, so what's happening in that bucket? How long are they in the bucket stage?
During this time, they're probably going to be in and out of that bucket in about a week. They'll turn into pupae. The adults will emerge. They'll fly off. The boys are going to go get a little bit of nectar from some flowers. The females may have a sip, but then those babes are coming after blood. They're like little vampires. They'll seek their hosts, and this is where the trouble begins for humans.
More video of this, courtesy of your YouTube channel, and here's one of them at work on a volunteer. Is that you?
That's my ankle, yes. And this is an Asian tiger, the dreaded Asian tiger mosquito. You know,
you can see the stripes kind of, I mean, the
yeah,
alternating.
Absolutely.
That's how you tell?
Yeah, the stripes on the legs and on the abdomen. And, you know, it used to be that it was just dawn and dusk. Growing up, mosquitoes were crepuscular. But when we got the Asian tiger, now we can enjoy 24 hours of biting. These are diurnal. They're going to bite in the daytime as well. And this is the big problem, I think, for gardeners here in the state.
Where did they come from?
Baltimore, and it's been Katie bar the door ever since.
Have they crowded out other mosquitoes?
We're not really sure about that, whether there's been actual competition, but all they did in terms of the nuisance value was complete that 24-hour period. So now we get bitten all day long.
Now here's the thing, if you talk to 10 people about mosquitoes, half of them have all sorts of welts and complaints. And there's other people who apparently are immune or are ignored by the mosquitoes. What's going on?
Well, you know, it's very unusual, Jeff. There are people that are definitely attractors, and there are people that are non-attractors. I am a non-attractor. My wife is an attractor. So when I take pictures, we go outside. She attracts the mosquitoes. I photograph them.
Did she sign on for this on day one?
I think she knew. She's also an entomologist. But the human body gives off more than 100 distinct odors, some people more, some people less. They're basically tracking carbon dioxide and lactic acid as the cue. But because of that unique blend of other chemicals, other volatiles that come off, that's what makes the difference between an attractor and a non-attractor.
Now, the one you photographed on your ankle,
yeah.
Since you're the non-attractor, Did it have to be persuaded to go there, or it took
It
the
was just
opportunity?
really hungry. It was that time for that babe to get that blood meal so she could develop those eggs and continue the biological imperative.
All right, well, let's figure out how we can repel these suckers. But first, let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about bugs, and we're not just talking mosquitoes, we're going to get to stink bugs, bed bugs, ticks, all of that tonight. Give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also tweet your questions. Our Twitter address is @MPT News. So how do we become more like you, the non-attractor, when it comes to mosquitoes?
Okay. Well, if I'm going to work outdoors, the first thing I'm going to think about is timing. Again, most of the mosquitoes, including our natives, will be biting dawn and dusk. So if you can schedule your work outdoors at the times away from the early morning and afternoon, late afternoon, you're probably going to decrease biting there. With the Asian tiger, if I'm working outside, I'm going to go with a repellent. And there are many, many wonderful mosquito repellents on the market. The other thing before we go into repellents is long clothing. I know in this heat it's pretty difficult to put on a long sleeve shirt and long pants, but this is really going to cut down on the available skin for those mosquitoes to find and bite. When I'm outdoors, I will, if I'm just outside for a very short period of time, I might choose this one. This is oil of lemon eucalyptus. It's plant-derived. This is going to give us protection for probably about 4 hours. And for most people, that's going to be perfect. It's just long enough to work in a garden.
You're spraying this on exposed skin
Exposed
or
skin,
clothing or
exactly.
both?
No, exposed skin is all you need to do with this. But again, read the label first. Always before you put repellents on you or your children, always read that label first and be sure you help the kids put those repellents on. Now, if I'm going into the rainforest, I just got back from Costa Rica. I'm going to use either this. This is a non-DEET alternative called picaridin. It's going to give me about 8 hours of protection under pretty intense mosquito pressure, bite counts of maybe 100 per minute. And the gold standard of mosquito repellents is this guy right here. That's DEET. And this is very long-lasting, very powerful protection. This is what I'm wearing when there's a lot of biting going on. So this is
and
really
the last
good.
container here.
The last container is one we can actually apply to clothing. There are lines of clothing